18th, 8 a.m. We're about to talk development. We have an industry leader as our guest today. And as always, right after today's Builder Square, you can meet me at Twitter with at my boy Adam, Word Gates. We're going to talk about what we talked about in this session, as well as some additional stuff that we probably ranted about. So that's it for Instagram. And I'm right here at Facebook and LinkedIn and maybe a little Twitter and a few. And yeah, so you all stay productive. Let me talk to Anya. There we go. So that was our Instagram. Look at us. So good morning, everybody. I am Christian Reed Agba, the co-founder of ECU Public Relations, San Antonio's full service Black-owned PR firm. We have been creating campaigns here in San Antonio for 11 years. We're super excited to bring you all Builder Square, compliments of Moody Nolan Architects, the country's largest Black-owned architecture firm, and for 40 years have been providing historical architecture designs and builds across the country with 11 offices nationwide, hopefully one in San Antonio soon. And I am joined today with an amazing smile and a super and an effervescent personality, Anya Barte. You all, I wanted to do more introduction, and I got a lot of introduction for you because we have a history. We just see each other in passing, and most recently, I feel like we've known each other for a couple years, but we've only started like really like having discussions most recently, like within the last month. So I'm
Yeah, thanks.
really, really geeked about sharing this information. I can't get over what side I need to be even on, you all. I got a little bit of OCD this morning. I am actually, thank you. So do you. Um, I am actually on my balcony this morning because one of our topics is those weird houses on the east side. So I decided to do the live from my balcony. Um, and we'll discuss why pretty soon. Um, we have comment sections open on LinkedIn and Facebook today. So if you have something to share, if you want to back up some comments, or if you want to drop some links or some new additional information that we need, then go ahead and feel free to share. As always, this entire live cast can be shared to any one of your networks at any time. Our next loyal viewer can be on your timeline. So I appreciate you all right now for sharing it. Take a second and share it. Actually, like that was a directive. Take a second, share it. All right, cool. Thank you. Okay, so Anya,
Yes, ma'am.
let's talk. You have been a contractor, a master planner, meaning you work in the design, development, and project management phases of new
Yes.
developments. How long have you been doing that?
So, first of all, thank you so much, Christian, for letting me have this time and this beautiful morning to share with you guys and your viewers. Um, well, to be honest with you, I have about 25 years experience in architecture, construction, and homelessness and housing. And I've worked with several different companies in San Antonio. Been a vice president of operations for multi-million-dollar companies, interior design firms. So I have been very blessed to gain wonderful experience under great guidance and leadership. And I'm really just happy that I'm able to share that now with the public.
Oh yeah, 25 years is a long time, but at the same time, not it doesn't seem like this math is mathing. Uh, and I, when we talk about how often we see women like us in places of where we can make decisions concerning design, concerning build, concerning spend. You know,
Uh-huh.
you were telling me just a
Other
second ago,
people's millions.
other people's millions. Like I want to be constantly in that position, and once you get there, you stuck there now. Like I want to spend some
Yeah.
other people's millions, okay? Because
Yes.
spending my own is really hard. Because first you got to make it, and then you. So
Yes.
okay. You were
And then
just
they
telling
trust
me,
you to spend it.
right? You were just telling me that you have had some, in your experience, you had a particular mentor that helped you to gain access to a contract and opportunity. Um,
Yes.
once you show promise. Can you give us a little bit of insight on that? I think we need a testimony this morning. We need a testimony on the
Okay,
team.
I'll give you one. This is huge. This is huge. So I was working for Fluger and Associates in 2003, I believe, and was pregnant. I was 5 months pregnant. Um, we had just finished our last big project, our last big school over. I think we did a steel off of Cibolo. And
Ooh.
so finishing that high school, I knew there was no work in the lineup. So I knew there was a layoff coming on. So I told everyone, I'm sure I'm going to be part of that because I'm pregnant and so forth. And at this point, when they laid me off, my mother just told me, you know what, you just need to go ahead and collect welfare, unemployment, everything else because you're not going to get another job. And this wonderful, beautiful architect by the name of Elizabeth Feldman. She came from California, from Berkeley. She had a really open mind, just a beautiful spirit. And she gave me the opportunity to work with her. And I told her, you know what? There's only one thing, I'm pregnant. And she said, we'll deal with that when the time comes. And she was very just a wonderful, giving person. I've never met anyone like that in my life. In regards to corporate America, we know how that goes. So she gave me the opportunity to just work with her off and on for the last 7 years. And with that experience, she opened the door for me. And being the fact that she wanted to close down her business, she got me in a position where I was at the table at the Port Authority. And she announced that she was closing down her business and introducing my business and my company, my firm, into the project. So it was literally almost like no red tape, no no stringent regulations for me to get in. She literally opened the door for me, and because of that, I had an 8-year running contract with the Port Authority, and worked on some top secret facilities. Just an amazing experience.
That is absolutely awesome. And it's good that we get to hear stories like that, especially in these spaces. We want
Yeah.
to make sure that our community knows that there are people out there that support us. Also, at the
Yes.
same time, I'm pretty sure you was A1. I'm pretty sure. Look, I got my notebook because I know you're going to tell us things and I'm going to write them down. I'm pretty sure you were well prepared. You had your knowledge, you was flexing, not just in your
Yes.
complexion, but in your knowledge and your technique and your strategy, right?
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
and at the same time hearing it and looking at the joy in your face, that's something that keeps your drive alive, huh? So
Yes.
right now, as that has opened door, as that experience opened doors for you,
Yes.
and you say for 8 years you were able to make plenty of connections, I'm sure, in that
Yes.
space.
She told everybody.
and and to see how port has grown, right? They got
Yes.
so many new things for anyone that's watching, or you're going to catch the replay. Port San Antonio Port Authority. Now they're calling themselves just SA Port. Um,
Okay.
just announced a huge tech hub, huge tech development, event space. They have an airport over there. They have a lot going on. Millions and millions of dollars has been invested in port, and they're going to really be doing a lot more in the future. They're also home to one of our my favorite charter schools, Compass Rose, which I sit on the board of
Mm,
those. So shout out to Compass Rose
mm.
over there in the port area.
Right.
Okay. Take a quick break. Hello, Dr. Shay. Hello, Josh. It's good to see y'all this morning. Thank you for joining us. If you guys have any questions, let us know in the comments. We'll stop and we'll read them off. But back to Anya. Okay, so um, Anya, when we talked last, you were telling me, where were we at, girl? We were sneaking away
We were at
shopping.
Ross shopping.
You
That was
peeping me.
only
You was like,
that was a God coincidence there.
that was, cause that's my sneak away Ross. That's my, I gotta
Yeah,
get
me
something real
too.
quick. Okay, so we was in Ross and she said, Christian, is that you? I said, oh God, no, it's not. Yes, it is. But it was
I
um
didn't want to say anything. I was looking crazy that day too.
nuts. And that's just how it be, when you're not supposed to meet nobody, you out there just looking like
Everybody's
anything.
there.
But that's what networking is, right? And it's that also that ability for us to stop and talk and chat. And there was some other people that wanted to get in our little conversation, and that's
Yes.
what the drive is for our. That's what Builder Square is all about, right? How much can we network on all facets of our all sides of us? We can discuss different things wherever we are. So we were talking when I asked you to join us, and I said, why don't you come on to the talk and talk about your project and talk about, the stage you're in right now. You've worked in all of the stages from design. You said you
Yes.
worked not only from design, like infrastructure design, but you also worked with interior design as well.
Yes.
And then you're shifting. Now you're working in low income. So you have to manage a different, very specific phases in that. So what is the phases that you're currently in? And then let's talk about your project.
Okay. Phases comparing to like um, commercial versus residential.
Yeah, what category does your project fall in right now?
So right now we fall into the commercial phase. I
Okay.
mean, as far as descriptions of which one is better described. Yes, we are doing residential, but the amount of acreage that we're working on makes it commercial. So we do have individuals that we work with on a one-to-one basis where they come and they say, okay, we have land, we want to provide, we want to do this and this and this on that property, whether it's residential. The amount of structures going onto that property is what changes that designation.
Okay.
So once we pass the one residential uh, need, or if they just want one house, that's considered residential. We just go continue on with the regular process. But with the city going into commercial projects in regards to what we're doing, we do have to attack it like it's a government facility or anything to that sort, because we're doing things in a much very different way. Our infrastructure is completely different. Everything that we're doing in this project, we're recreating the wheel. So literally recreating architectural methods, construction standards,
Hmm.
changing specifications, and including alternative materials that no one has used in the past. So we're changing the dynamic and being a pioneer here in San Antonio for
I
that
love
effort.
it. For I know we got some notifications, and I think those are notifications. Oh, Dr. Shay talking about TJ Maxx Home Goods. For folks joining us, we are talking to Anya Barte. She is the founder and title executive director, principal designer uh, for Studio X9 LLC. It's an architectural design and drafting firm specializing in project management and construction and rivet drafting. Okay, affiliated with the BBB, the U.S. Green Building Council. So you just talked about sustainable building processes, and the
Mhm.
National Association of Professional Women. Check you out. All right, so I wanted to make sure I dropped that link. Uche is going to drop the Studio X9 link into the comments really quickly. So
Thank
your project, Project Noah,
you.
we
Yes.
first you first introduced it to me in January during Dream
Hmm.
Week. We were
Yes.
at
The mayor's ball.
the mayor's ball. Yes.
Yeah.
And you were so excited about it. So tell us about it and how it's low income housing, but also has some sort of homelessness resources adding into it.
So the name of the project, as you said, is Project Noah, and that NOAA stands for Net Zero Affordable Housing. Okay. The difference between what we're doing in comparison to housing on the general is we are having to include middle class America into this segment, because the lower middle class has grown into the middle class. So it has merged into a bigger middle class.
Okay.
What we're doing is we're providing affordable, sustainable, holistic structures for the public. We are building shipping container homes that look like regular, typical homes. We want to be the KB and DR Horton without their infamous reputation, but we want to be the KB and DR Horton of shipping container design in the United States and really across the world. But we have to start in San Antonio. We got to put San Antonio on the map. So we are working with Senator Jose Menendez and the city of San Antonio on a district. With the senator, we're working on a district for showcase how we can build a sustainable economy on recycling our materials. We change the infrastructure to where everything is self-sustaining on its own economy. So in essence, we're going to be building a small city. We're going to be building a small city. Everything will be out of alternative materials. There will not be typical wood construction there. We'll do straw bale, rammed earth, shipping container, everything that people talk about, we're going to do it. So
Okay.
right now, we're in a position where the city of San Antonio has asked us how much money do we need to do a pilot program. So it's a humongous blessing, but at the same time, you have to have some kind of parameters. So we'll be meeting with the city development department to see where our numbers need to be. I know that they just passed the bond, the housing bond. We qualified for it. Our name is in the hat. So we just need to provide. Yes, I'm so happy. We just
That's a good big moment. That's a momentous moment. If y'all got a moment and you watching this in the live or in the replay, just get a little, just a standing applause. That getting on that bond is serious work. That is
yes,
effort. That is
yes,
labor. Okay,
yes.
and listen, I I read the not read who can read the bond, right? But I read the
Right.
stipulations it takes to be considered, the feasibility studies, the toxicology reports, all of that scientific things, and then also making it make sense to people that aren't necessarily in the industry or might
Yes.
not have it on their agenda.
Yes.
That's another situation. And we just voting left and right for things. It is right now still early vote for the trickle off or whatever we're supposed to be voting for. But
Mhm.
yes,
Thank
congratulations on jumping into the bond. Okay. So
you.
when you say you're going to be using products and building products that are not normally used in our communities, you know, what does that mean for the sustainability of those homes?
Okay. Thank you for that question. So these homes are going to be equipped with solar power, rainwater collection, water recapture reuse, aquaponic system, and a vertical garden. This project is called NOAA, not just because of the net zero affordable housing acronym, but also there is scripture in this project. We are following God's message. We're doing his mission in regards to this because we know that devastating climate change is going to happen, whether you want to call it you know uh, global warming or whatever. The change is coming, so
Mhm.
regardless of what we call it, we just need to be aware and be ready for it. So, regardless of how we feel about prepping and those kinds of things, this house is to provide you with some type of life change support. You have support from the structure. If there's a hurricane, if there's a tornado, a fire, it takes 20 hours for a shipping container to catch fire. 20 hours. I know we can get a fire engine there by then. So, so if we can think about the dynamics behind any kind of catastrophe and what happens, everything's wiped out. But in this case, if you think of a shipping container that is welded to the foundation and it provides all these different systems and these sustainable elements coming in, we're going to be providing cost savings. We're going
Wow.
to be providing low maintenance costs for your house. We're
Wow.
going to be providing energy efficient ratings for your house, and it's not going to be by the appliances.
Hmm.
Um, we use a product by the name of polyisostyrene, and that is a foam that provides just like the most best R rating we could ever find. So we have our R value in our walls is R24, and the R values in our ceiling is R38. And now keep KB and DR Horton, they are able to get the Energy Star rating because of the use of appliances. We can get
Right.
it because of structure.
Because of the structure. And when they
Yes, sir.
say the use of appliances, that's things that they get mass orders. So they really are saving a ton of money already and not
Right,
really investing in the structure of the home, which can
right.
dribble and travel the way they see fit. If you
Yes.
all haven't been informed, there's a number of controversies surrounding uh, the DR Horton company, as well as, I don't want to say Pulte Homes. What was the other one you named? Um,
Mm.
but well, just search their names and search controversy. I'm pretty sure you'll be able to click the news section and then find some reputable sources as to why we should buy local when it comes to building some affordable housing in San Antonio. Dr. Shea visited Vegas recently, apparently, and she's in the comments saying that she loves the affordable spaces for small business owners looking for a brick and mortar. Is
All right.
SA looking to possibly do something like this? Now, so that's a great question. I want to know, do you plan on putting some live workspaces within your development?
Yes, actually, we have already designed, we had the opportunity to design 196 acres of an existing land that was about a mile long of Medina River on the
Okay.
southeast side. Unfortunately, COVID came. The gentleman who was the owner of that property was already 86 years old. So, he was holding out for us so that we can do this development and include him in this. He had wonderful green spaces and so forth. But the wonderful thing about that is it gave us experience because we submitted that to Bear County and asked for their feedback so they can give us kind of their intellect on what they see. So what we provided is we wanted to have a community where there are subdivisions and so forth, but at the beginning of that community, there can be incubation spaces for people who are starting their businesses, entrepreneurs.
Oh yeah.
If you are running a business out of your home, you don't want to bring everybody into your house. So we did have spaces, those commercial pads, settings for those settings, as the doctor had mentioned earlier. So we
Yeah.
do want to do commercial spaces with the shipping container. We're not going to be leaving it as industrial look. It's going to be finished. When we talk about homes, we're not talking about tiny homes. We're talking about 1,400 to 2,500 square foot homes out of containers. So this is the dynamic behind what we do. We want to make this big. We want to show the public that this is a great structure, and there's so many containers all over ports just sitting there. So let's start
Mhm.
utilizing them,
Yeah.
recycle it.
And I love that you're not focusing only on tiny homes. I feel like the demographic, and so for so many years, we saw developers try to market tiny homes to the east side and to marginalized communities. And I kept thinking, well, don't they know that we got more kids than them? Or, like, I don't got no kids personally, but I mean, notoriously, our families are larger. So, what
Yeah,
good would a tiny home do? We need a home. Let's get it
need a
together.
house.
And
Yes.
and the way dignity is set up, don't force something on a community that they are not able to receive because it literally does not fit their needs, right?
No.
So with providing needs of the community and surrounding communities and
Mhm.
actual sustainable spaces, how will your development create wealth in the community? Are they for rent? Are they for purchase? Are they for what?
Okay, so we're going to be considering everything. We will have different multidisciplinary segments where we have, okay, this is for rent, this is for purchase, this is maybe timeshare. We want to be able to provide some leasing options for people. Maybe there's areas where they can come in and bring their own. So we just want to be able to have an open and flexible structure because we want to provide all different type of housing situations. So if you're in a senior citizen living situation where you need assistance living, we want to be able to provide that segment into our development as well. We want to be able to provide every single thing that you need into a regular city in this development.
Yeah.
And the biggest dynamic behind that is that we get to play with it. We get to create, different variations of developments that haven't been seen. Most of the time when we have a development, we put the rich people in this area and then the middle class in this other area and the poor people in this other area, or excuse me, the low to income in this area. But what we want to do is, because we're going into the subdivision clean, the taxes and the amount, the valuation of the property and everything is the same across the board. So the difference is, how much do you want to spend on your property? How much do you want as your mortgage? What do you qualify for your FHA? And we do provide FHA conventional and VA loans for our homes. Okay, so right now we have
I love
we
it.
I love it too. I tell everybody this is all by the grace of God. I'm just literally following direction. I'm following direction. That's
Yes,
it.
that's
And
all.
like you said, it's a directive. That's what I'm following.
Hmm. I trust the directive. Okay, you got to tell me.
Yes,
Uh,
yes,
so I am just proud of all of the things that you have thought of. Like to feel seen is one thing. And we've been in these rooms again to see women that look like us, that are making decisions, that are breaking
yes,
ground, that they have the skill set to do these things.
yes,
Is not necessarily rare, but it is a coveted moment for me in
yes,
terms of dividing devising, excuse me, where to get your knowledge from. It's always easiest to get knowledge from people that look like you. um right now, where are you learning from? Like, are you reading any specific book? Are you watching any specific landscapes? Are you doing the crane watch? I love doing the crane watch. I kind of sit and watch what's being built, and then I go and I do my little research around it. How are
yes.
you getting what are you tuned into right now?
I have always been involved, and to be honest with you, as a young child, I was always friends with women and men 20 years older than me. So as a 15-year-old, I would hang out with my friends' mothers. So it just
They were interested.
yeah, I didn't want to play Barbies anymore, you
Mm-mm.
know? And so really that has stuck with me. And as I said before, my mentor was a female architect by the name of Elizabeth Feldman, and that just stuck with me. After that, it just seemed to open the door for other female leaders and of not of my race.
Yeah.
We were able to create a friendship and a kindred loyalty towards each other, that I was invested in what they were doing, and they were invested in helping me get the experience to help them grow. So
Hmm.
in reality, it's a win-win situation in that circumstance. And to be honest with you, when Elizabeth Feldman shut down her business, she gave me six computers with Revit on all of them before she
What?
closed her office. Yes,
Thousands of dollars of basic
thousands of
investment.
dollars
Thousands of dollars right away. Just
right away. And I asked her, why are you doing this? Like, why are you being so helpful? And she said, you know what? Woman to woman, I just want to see you grow. I want to see you make it. I want to see you make it, because she had to shut down her shop.
hmm.
So the biggest mentors I get are from other religions, other nationalities, other races. I just put myself in the mix. I go to the Asian associations. I go to,
Yes.
the Muslims community. I go everywhere so I can see what the community needs. And I want to try to help with gentrification. I was almost a part of that. I had to do a house in the East Side as well, and they sold that house for $385,000, and I was so sad. I was like, mixed. I'm
It's gonna
happy and
happen.
sad, you know, right? But it's just in the way that things are happening. But I mean, I'm blessed that I'm able to have the opportunities to get through those experiences, learn and grow. But at the same time, I do value everyone. I do value everyone's experience. So those are my biggest mentorships, is just being open to receive. Be
Yeah.
open to receive. Put yourself in those situations that make you feel uncomfortable. Most of the time, I am the only female Black person in the room. So, as you said before, I do believe it is a rarity, that we are able to have women come together and talk about development the way that we're able to. But
Hmm.
I want to change that dynamic. I want to be able to provide internships and mentorings for people that are of our color and our race, so that
Hmm.
they can grow in what it is that they want to specialize in.
Have you participated in any of the mentor protege programs that the city, I think it was SA Works. I know Dr. Shay can talk about it. She's in the comments right now asking about people that want to sub with you, swim beats that want to sub with you, and how to reach
Yes.
out to you. But have you ever participated in any of those programs when you first started, or did you just jump right into working it out?
No, I went into those programs. I actually took a 6-week course under Turner Construction as well, because they're
That
not
was the film.
city, when they
Mhm.
had Turner University. I was already into architecture and development, but I was on the other side of the table, on the design part.
Mhm.
Being on the ownership part, that's a completely different industry.
Mhm.
So I just wanted to make sure I was well versed in all that. And I got the experience from, Turner Construction, from the city of San Antonio, from UTSA, from St. Philip's, wherever it is, I went and I want to grow.
Get up and
That's,
go there. I
yeah,
love that about this city, and I've been here 11 years, 10 years, 11 years, something like that, around there. And it's the city of resources.
it
There are
is.
so many sessions, so many classes, so many leadership is always a leadership something. And if you don't know what the leaderships are, the leadership programs are usually 5 weeks to about 4.5 month long programs that organizations put on hosts to teach you, to help you network, to help you figure out how to become a contractor, a vendor, you know just a more prominent business person, executive, or
Yes.
C-suite employee, whatever it may be. There are leadership campaigns and programs that you can attend, and a lot of times I really love how they're hosted by private organizations. So there was the one with Turner, and then there's
Mhm.
UTSA that has one,
Yeah.
and these are grown up camps almost.
Yes.
I've even went on to
Cool
host when I
camps.
hosted one. Yeah, they camps, boot camps and business camps and summer camps. Okay, and afterwards is margarita camps. Okay, it's a
Nothing
whole
wrong with
bunch.
that
I don't
camp.
mind those camps,
Yeah.
and then it leads you into committees, and it leads you into commissions. And speaking of
Yes.
commissions, that's where I'm trying to figure things out. I'm in a
Me
space
too.
in Builder Square is where I ask all my questions. If these people watching don't ask no questions, girl, I'm gonna ask me some questions, okay? Because I got questions. So zoning, you touched on zoning earlier,
Hmm.
and you touched on how the different lines are drawn affects the pricing, and the sizes of the lots affects what a property can be.
Hmm.
Zoning wise, I live in one of those houses that they sold for $300,
Uh-huh.
and it's a pretty house. I really like it.
Uh-huh.
So it clearly used to sit on a one house lot, but now there's three houses on this lot, and it's ruled residential. It's affected people. That's what
Yes.
gentrification is. But in terms
Yes.
of zoning, when we discuss the difference between commercial and residential, not necessarily affecting other residential, those commercial properties don't really affect the residential. Do you feel that San Antonio can use a little bit more commercial space, or
I,
East Side San Antonio, or are we having a hard time with our commercial space?
I think because the zoning is already kind of set in place that we're multi-zoned in the east side. Um, I just believe that a lot of the commercial spaces have, let's just say, have been underutilized. And
Okay.
so because it's an existing zoning, we have to stay in that plot of land for the commercial. So we're not able to expand unless we did what they did, right? When we buy all the property, say bye to the people that live there and then create something new. But again, that gentrification is something that I believe the city of San Antonio is one of the amongst the last metropolitan or major metropolitan areas in the United States to be developed. And I believe that we still have a lot of segregated areas in San Antonio that kind of made that a standard. And because we're landlocked, I think it might be a little more difficult to bring in commercial zoning into the east side without taking out the existing residential, um, the lots that are there. So I think that becomes that issue is that um, maybe it's a good thing that they've stopped developing so fast so we can keep up with the gentrification and kind of educate people on don't sell your house for $50,000 and don't do those kinds of things because you end up homeless and then you have to come and call me.
Hmm.
So we want to be able to to look at that. Maybe we speak with the city when they come in and ask those private investors to come in and consider the east side for commercial space, you know?
Yes. And that's important. We need to have a little bit more in commercial space. What it allows for us to do, something that I've researched to thwart the effects of gentrification, is offer more opportunities for employment more locally to areas in which that are being gentrified, so that people can
Yes.
have a little less money spent on transportation, a little less time spent on transportation in their commute, and then also have earning potential closer to home. And so what we see on San Antonio's east side is there aren't, no, Anya, don't share that. That's for Uche to share.
Oh, oh,
There
okay.
are, he's going to share it into the comments. He's got it easier than I do. Um,
Okay.
so what we see now is we have long stretches on San Antonio's east side with almost zero retail opportunities, zero large scale chain restaurants,
Mm,
zero opportunities for, I mean, plenty of opportunities for manufacturing, which only gains just enough employment options. I most recently heard that one or two of our manufacturing facilities on San Antonio's east side is employed through SA County Jail. So even more people not working in the city, right?
mm-hmm.
In our area. If that's the case, that's something that can probably be researched. What Uche just dropped in the chat is a link to San Antonio's board and commissions, opening seats for San Antonio's board and commission. And in the coming weeks, there will be a number of new announcements, if not have done already, new announcements on the boards and commissions for the city of San Antonio. That's including, and I'll read off the list for you all: building standards, building related and fire codes. And if y'all hear a dog barking, that is not Miller. That's Hector across the street losing his mind. Bexar County appraisal districts, also zoning. The Affirmative Action Board is also looking for persons. And then the Climate Equity Advisory Committee is looking for persons as well. There's also availability in the um, uh, goal setting committee and the Head Start Policy Council. So there's a lot of openings on San Antonio's boards and commissions that directly affect the development of San Antonio's most um, marginalized communities. I urge you all to visit that link that Uche just dropped. It's over here in my window. So who knows where it is in yours, wherever it is. Go ahead and click it, scroll through that website, find your board or commission, and put in your application. Anyone that would like to have a recommendation from Christian, hit me up in the comments or drop me a message, and I'll be more than happy to do a recommendation for you all. So yeah, so we what else we got to talk about? Uh,
Maybe the foundation for a second.
that's yeah. Talk about foundation.
So we have,
Thank you.
I'll make it quick.
Don't make it quick. Take your time.
So we have a nonprofit by the name of SX9 Foundation. We deal with homelessness and affordable housing. Many times, and I don't want to just stay because of COVID, but because of COVID, there's been a lot of evictions and people have had hard times. So we created a nonprofit, which was actually created in 2013, but we just started working with it to help people with resources. We are actually partnered with the City of San Antonio Neighborhood Housing Development, Neighborhood Housing Department. Thank you. Yes. So
Every time you mention these partnerships, I'm going to, okay, because it's big time. Like
it
that's
is.
huge.
It is.
Okay, continue.
I
But
know, sometimes I feel like I can't get excited about it because we have so much work to do on it. But thank you so much. Thank you for those
I
celebrations. Yes.
okay,
Um,
so what are they having? What are they partnering with you all to provide or
okay.
to do?
So right now they have renter assistance, eviction assistance, and any other kind of resources that you need, whether it's food stamps and housing and so forth. We're able to like kind of guide you and take you in. We work with some people that might pull some strings for you a little faster. If you need your ID, if you're on the streets, you're homeless, you don't have an ID, we work with the City of San Antonio Police Department, Hope the Hope Group, I believe that's their name, and they go and they help you if you have existing warrants. They won't arrest you on site. So these are things. The very first thing that you need to get your life back in order is your ID, your identification, your
Yes.
identity. So we help people with that, and then we help them get into a mental state where they can be in a house by themselves. We try to get them the resources, whether they're veterans, they have mental issues, special needs, they don't speak the language, whatever it is, we try to bring in that community, whether they're Muslim, Buddhist,
Hmm.
Mormon. We work with the top religious leaders there so they can help their community come in and help the individual that we've assisted off the street. And so SX9 Foundation is creating a platform where we can bring in the nonprofit segment and the for-profit segment. Sometimes the city comes in and tells you, you know what, this house is unstable, is structurally unsound. We have to bring it down. We have to demolish it. We have the we have the working relationship with Alamo One Demolition, and they'll come in and demolish the house for free.
Oh,
That's the last one they built. They did for us was a $12,000 demolition project, and they asked for no in-kind receipt.
wow.
So we
And
have
how important is that when it comes to houselessness, and homelessness, and our community of neighbors that are not necessarily living in sound conditions, tearing down, and this is the Detroit in me wanting to
right.
kind of preach the good word of what that type of development does for crime, for drug
Hmm.
abuse and drug use, for
Hmm.
health and safety, for public health, all of that, to demolish a home that is being misused, uh, can impact so many safety measures that our communities require and they need. And
Yes.
and yes, we see spaces open up in our streets, right? We see these spaces, but those spaces are new opportunities for development instead of new opportunities to find a frozen person
Right. Right.
or a overdosed person or a
Right.
missing person. So
Right.
we have to really consider development in terms of demolition. And so that's there, those are angels. So thank you to Alamo One Demolition for that. That's beautiful.
Yes. Yes. I believe that whenever we have, sometimes in order to save someone's property, we can't go across what the city has already ordained. So working within their guidelines, we want to make sure that the person is able to keep their property. So if we demolish it, the city no longer has control and doesn't have the ability to put a lien on their property, right?
Oh,
Yes, yes. Because that's what happens. The city will come and say, "We're going to demolish your home, whether you like it or not, and you're going to owe us $12,000." So the house that you had that valued maybe $100,000, you're going to lose it because that person doesn't have insurance. They don't have homeowner insurance. They don't have everything else that most other people have. So they're going to lose their property because of $12,000. So this is a little segment where they can pigeonhole you and you have no clue what to do. So this is where we can help a little bit. And then in the essence of the demolished structure after it's done, I believe that's where we have to bring the community in and they need to start to like focus and work together with those and infiltrate those developments before they start. We make a big push in San Antonio and we can make a difference.
yeah.
We have actually stopped developments from happening just because of protests. So
Hmm.
you have to come in here and ask for permission.
We don't have that. Yeah, and that's another thing, and that just opened up my little business mind, just opened right on up. And I think we might have touched on equitable development processes and creating, value in our neighborhoods by reminding people, hey, this is still your land. The land that you're on is yours. While you're getting these offers in the mail, because they're getting offers, you're getting these phone calls for these pennies on the dollar. This is
Mhm.
still your property. And one of the reasons why we wanted to lump these conversations together with our little weird houses topic was because um, it's not that hard And I'm not at all diminishing what you're doing, Anya. I respect it. And
Yes.
but I'm pretty sure you can do a university yourself. You can be your own Turner Onion University, right? But it is
Mhm.
not hard to consider ourselves developers just as landowners.
Yes.
It's conversations like these that can plant a seed to letting us know that even if my house was demolished for free, but I still own it, and now I have room to maybe put up two houses, right?
Right.
And now I have space and an opportunity to maybe, welcome in a network of people. I'm gonna say maybe we might know somebody in the
Yeah.
industry that be building things like I don't know, container houses.
Uh-huh.
Now we got an opportunity to create partnerships with each other, and that
Yes.
amplify not only the value of our land but our equity in it, right? And
Yes.
then build some long term wealth, right?
Yes.
But we have to make sure that we are open to understanding that development is going to happen regardless,
Yes.
right?
Regardless, we just want it to be healthy for the community.
Yes,
That's the biggest thing.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
Um, when we first moved into our home on the east side, and I've lived in San Antonio's Four Corners, I've lived in West Side, low income housing for 2 years while we drummed up our business and tried to double down on our government contracting. We've lived in luxury downtown apartments. Okay, when we pay way too much money for an apartment the size of this patio. Okay. And then I moved into some newer spaces on the east side before I purchased this space here. And
Hmm.
when we decided to buy, I don't think our neighbors understood that Black people could buy gentrifier houses. And actually, I was not gonna say I don't think. I would say I
Kind of like
know.
an oxymoron to them, maybe. I
Oh,
don't know.
when we stepped out on that porch one day and they looked at us, they said, "Oh,"
Oh, they still
they said,
here.
y'all Airbnb, no, welcome home. We the neighbors, and and
Thank
and
you.
and these are Black people, and we Black people, and they just watching us come and go, and it's an interesting conversation once we get into the space of what does the face of gentrification look like nowadays. We got neighbors now that kind of like us, but they still mad that our houses go straight up into the air and it's three on every lot, but they
Yes.
they like us.
Yes.
uh and they like our neighbors and they like the Airbnb because it's pretty and always well manicured, but they originally didn't really understand what was going on.
It's
um
the it's the human nature. It's the human nature of change and something new. We are always really defensive and we push back on something new. And
mhm.
after a while, you absorb it and it becomes normal. It becomes the average norm, and people open up.
Oh yeah, people
Yeah.
open up and different facets of the community comes together, and
Yes.
we're able to go to the neighborhood uh, bar and enjoy our time there, but also yell over the balcony at our
Yes.
people that walking up and down the street, and then we bring the differences in those complexities together, and we love it. Um,
Yes.
I see more of this happening in this area, hopefully soon.
Yes. Yes.
Sooner, timeline wise, where are you
I think
sitting?
I okay, time wise, let me see. So we already participated in one home on the east side 2 years ago. And being that that sold for 385, that really made me step back and revisit what I wanted to do as far as development. How the emotional responsibility that goes behind the development is what comes into play with me. So if I'm able to come into an area, maybe bring up the value of the land and the equity without having to put such a strain on the existing segment there of the community, then I feel like we're doing good. We're doing justice for growth. But if I'm simply coming in and throwing people out and say, okay, if you make 40,000, you can come into to this area, and that's because we had government subsidized funding with that, and they create that little opportunity for 3 years, and then it goes away.
Hmm.
So we all kind of know that that is the running process and how people really do development. And maybe that's where we come in and we fill their ear up with, okay, there has to be some more stimulations and or um, some regulations and some guidelines before you can do this. And I really believe involving the public is our biggest advantage.
Really?
The numbers, if we involve the public into private developments, with a little bit of some understanding, not all of it, right? And you know how people are when it gets to choosing things. So we have to be able to just have an equal balance, I believe, when it comes to that.
Yeah.
And I believe the slow growth is great. The gentrification, it seems like it's coming down a little bit. It's still happening. And the face of gentrification can be any face. I really believe it's just a evaluation of, your income base. You qualify for this type of housing and you have the ability to live anywhere you want to. I have two millionaires that live on the east side. One lives over on Cherry Street. He's a millionaire, and the other one lives on the southwest side, and he's building a 500,000 valued house for, I don't know, for chump change on the west side, on southwest side. So, and he's wanting to resell it, but he knows that that's impossible. So he's going to change that into an Airbnb. So it just, yeah, you have to just kind of make, a little
Make.
bit of sense, yeah,
Hmm.
with
Hmm.
with your decisions.
And there's been a bubble in San Antonio for a couple years now as the development moves through our east and west communities. As you just mentioned, the gentleman has bought a building a home that's going to be valued at $500,000 on the southwest side, and I'm seeing more and more 5 and 6 story or bedroom homes, 3 and 4 family connected condos or townhomes, whatever they're calling them, popping up. And I'm expecting that the West Side will see that really, really soon. Because,
Um,
or have they, or am I missing it? Did they already get theirs?
well, they they're not letting it get there.
What is it? Is it? Do they have more development firms than we got over here? More centralized development firms over there? Is there a council person driving it all?
They
You can
have
nod or blink. You don't have to tell me
no, um,
that.
no, the West Side Development. I don't know if it's the West Side Development Group. They have done wonderful efforts in retraining the thought process of their existing homeowners.
Okay.
So they're out there hitting the streets, because a lot of people don't have, some people, maybe they have internet on their phone, but they don't have an actual computer or laptop in the house. So they're knocking on doors. They're
Hmm.
knocking on doors telling people, do not sell your house.
Hmm.
Here's
Hmm.
this program to help bring your house up. Then you can get to a point where you want to decide if you want to sell or not for profit.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So they're
Okay.
doing that right now on the west side. They've been doing it for the last 3 years, because when it happened on the east side, I don't know who stepped in on the west side and they said, we're not going to let this happen on the west side.
Thank God that
So
they did, because the way that they were walking up to these people with these little measly $40,000 checks, and then they would take these 40,000 checks and go buy $110,000 house in Converse, in further beyond whatever is beyond Converse, and then don't have a car, don't can't get to their job, can't get to a good, it was mayhem. They were creating mayhem.
to, to be honest with you, once they received those checks, they didn't use it to invest back in property, because and we see that that's what happened. So I really believe that that's education on our side,
Hmm.
and how we need to be more involved in showcasing like titles. There's so many people on the east side that they don't have the title to their house. They don't have a deed, because this person died and then they just automatically took over, but they didn't do the
They
paperwork.
didn't go to the paperwork.
Yeah, so
Maybe
we
that
have
might be another builder square that we need. A second ago, you mentioned community involvement, and this is just to wrap up. I need you to share with us how to get in touch with you, how to visit your Instagram, your Facebook. What's your website? What do we have to do to say I want to make sure I work with Anya? I want to make sure I follow attention or pay attention to Project Noah. I want to give my time to the foundation. How do they do that?
Okay. So you can find me on Instagram. It's Barte Anya, backwards. Okay. And then my Facebook, this is so crazy. My Facebook is Carrie Graham, CARIGRAHAM, like the graham cracker.
Not
I'm
your
on,
personal. We're not giving you no personal. Y'all better not find her on Facebook. No, follow that
well,
business page. Or tell us you
you
got a
can,
LinkedIn.
I do have a LinkedIn.
Yes.
It's the same. You can find me on LinkedIn, and my website is www.studiox9.com. My nonprofit is www.sx9foundation.org. We are always looking for volunteers, looking for sponsors, looking for people who want to share their talents with us and just get back into the community. If you need internships, if you need, you need some kind of volunteering time, let us know. We'll be more than happy to put you in some form of assistance somewhere. We will be able to find you and use you. So I really just thank you so much for this opportunity. I love the fact that your public is so involved with this, and I can't wait to share this on my platform.
Oh, thank you so much. And it was great seeing you this week or last week at Ross. It was great seeing you now. I wish
Thank
you the most amazing success. And I wish your mentees success. Okay, everybody that you're teaching, I wish them
you.
success.
Thank
I
you.
am so grateful for the work that you're doing. I can't wait to work with you in the future.
Yes,
That's a
ma'am.
shameless plug. All
Yes, you know.
right. And so, yeah. So yes, so thank you so much, Anya. You have a beautiful morning. Get you a cup of coffee,
Thank
cup of tea on
you.
me, honey. And we'll see
Thank
you
you. I
soon.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank
Bye,
you.
listeners and audience. I love y'all. Thank you.
All right. And Uche's gonna keep me on.